Hi there, it's Wade McMaster here. In today's video I want to show you how you can create a header image for your Facebook page using Photoshop. Now it's one of those simple, it's a simple enough process, but there's a few things that a lot of people don't think about when creating one of these images for their Facebook page. And that is that if you create a Facebook header image and pop it on a PC, it looks different than when it displays on a phone. So the way it works is you get a different proportion for these images that can be taller or shorter depending on what device you're using, and sometimes important information or imagery gets cut off depending on what you're viewing this page on. So in this video I'll show you how you can avoid that with a few simple tricks, designing it in a way that you can afford to have certain things cropped without losing important information. So pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So we're going to jump on the computer now and have a look. So let's get to it.
Okay guys, so we're now in Photoshop and we're going to create our document and we're going to start building this Facebook page. Now, first of all, what we're going to do is set up a basic template so we know where we can put our information, where we can't, and I'll explain that a bit as we go. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up top to File and then New, and I'm going to create a new document. Now, you get this little window pop up here, and basically these are the dimensions that show on desktop for Facebook, which is 851 by 315. But what I'm going to be doing, I'm actually going to be designing this at a larger size because, for one, it means that if there's any changes to Facebook in the future, if your image is large enough, the resolution won't sort of go poor. And also, it's just good to design at a larger size, just in my opinion, because it just helps you create sharper images if you do need to scale them down. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to make this 1920 by 711. So 1920 by 711 pixels, and create. So this is the proportion of Facebook pages show up on desktop, but on an actual mobile device, it would actually show up a bit taller, probably about as tall as the actual opening there itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to go to my rulers here. Now, if you don't have these, simply go to View, and then turn on Rulers here. So View and then Rulers, or you can just hit Control R. I'm going to click in the ruler and drag a guideline right down. I'm going to try and get it to snap to the top of the document. Same again, I click in the ruler at the top, drag down, and now I've got a guideline at the top and the bottom of this this picture. So now I'm going to go into Image, Canvas Size, and it comes up with this here. Now, if yours doesn't say pixels, it says something like inches, you can go up to this drop down here and change it to pixels. But we're going to change that 711 to 1080. So we get this 1920 by 1080, which is the same resolution as 1080p, which is like a Blu-ray video resolution. It's going to create the image at a size that is suitable for a mobile device, but also the resolution is going to be good enough to sort of scale up if we need to. So now we've got this white page. I'm actually going to make this black so you can see those guidelines a bit more easily. So I'm going to invert this background by clicking Control I. You can see here, you can see these guidelines here. So the idea is we want all of our important information to be between these two guidelines in the center, and nothing that we want, if we don't want, whatever we don't want getting cropped is going to be in the center, but we are going to try and make the design fill the full image so that way when it does go onto a smartphone, the information goes from top to bottom. The design is going to look a lot more effective. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off just nice and simple. We're going to start, let's say we're just going to have a clean Facebook page. We're going to start with just some text and information, and we're going to build on it by adding some images and bits and pieces as we go. So the way this works is, let's say, first of all, let's say you have a website called Travel Dude. Okay, first of all, what I'm doing here, I'm going to the text tool down here to the bottom left, the little T icon. I'm clicking on that, and then I'm just clicking on the page and typing in Travel Dude. Now that's really quite small, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Edit, Free Transform, and I'm going to enlarge that out. Now you see the text is black on the black background, so we can't see it. So while we have this text tool highlighted, we can go up here to change the color. So I'm going to click on this black box here, change the color to white. And you can see I've made a spelling error. I'll fix that up. And we've got our font there. I am also going to change this to another font because I'm not a big fan of this one. So So we'll say catamaran, might go thin, and we might make the travel just a bit thicker, so maybe we'll go bold. We'll call it travel dude. So if you want to go pure minimalist, you could just stop there if you wanted to, but I've got a feeling you don't want to go pure minimalist. So we're going to actually just move travel dude over to here. Now, if you're running a business, you may have a logo that's been supplied by a graphic designer. So for the sake of this video, I'm also going to insert a logo. If you don't have one, a bit of text can do the job for now, or you can create one or get one created. I do have some information on that on my website. I'll also pop some links in the description below. I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Place Linked to grab my logo. I'm going to grab this logo here and insert it as a smart object. So by going to place, I'm able to actually insert my logo, which is not a great logo. It's just a dummy logo I created for the sake of the video. Put it next to the text there. And what I can do, if I want to make this one object, I can actually click over here on my layers panel on the right. I've actually got an extra layer here I'm going to get rid of called lorem ipsum from when I was trying to create some text before. So we are going to delete that layer. But what we're going to do, if you don't see this layers panel, you can go to Windows and down to layers to turn it on. And what we're going to do, we're actually going to click on Travel Dude text here, and then we're going to control and click on the logo we've imported. And then I'm just going to group them. Now, I actually hit Control G to group usually. However, there is a menu item here. I think you go up to the top right here, new group from layers. So that's basically how you can do that. You can select the two by holding Control, go to your top up here, and go new group from layers, and just call it logo or Kigi. Double click, logo. So now I can actually go, instead of going to free transform here, for the remainder of the video, I'll hit Control T. If you're on Mac, I believe it's Command T. And I can just resize this how I need to. We've got Travel Dude logo here. Not the best logo, but yeah, for the sake of the video, it's not too bad. Now, we do want to make sure, if you don't want it, just what we can do is lock this if we don't want it to move over here, or unlock it. But the main thing is if I want to move it, I need to click on the actual group here, because I can accidentally move the text by itself. I'll Control Z for undo, or edit for undo. I want to make sure I select the group itself and free transform to keep it all linked up together. Another thing you can do if you want to, which I won't do in this video right now, is you can go here and merge the group somewhere along here, merge group into one single layer. So that's another option if you want to simplify it. So moving on, what we're going to do is we're going to put a bit of information here. So I'm clicking again, I'm going to put here travel tips, say airline deals, information on destination. So I've just put a few things down that maybe I'm talking about on this thing. I'm not really into travel too much, so I'm pretty much improvising this. But once again, I can hit Control T because I have that selected. I'm going to actually move that outside of the logo group because it has appeared in the logo group. So I just pick that up, just drag it up. I'm going to hit Control T to free transform and make that bigger. Next thing I'm going to do is also change that logo to the same as before, which is catamaran. So travel tips for newbies. One thing you can do if you have a bit of a lopsided dot list, just add a few words if you want to. This is just something I do sometimes just because I like things to look neat and sort of without having sort of things too long and too short. Airline deals online or something like that. So we've got our little dot points here that we want to sort of promote what it is our page is about. And what I'm going to do now is I'm also going to put some information here. So let's say if you were a small business, I might type down the bottom here with our text tool again. So phone 0555 555, hit Control T. So you can put your phone and email, not quite as big, but the idea is just to simply lay it out, keep it within those guidelines. So you might have your phone and your email. So travel dude at hotmail.com or something like that. So we've got our contact details there because, let's say, we're a small business. We want people to contact us. And then on to the right, I'm going to put some social media icons. So I'm going to go to place. Now I am going to link below to where you can get some social media icons from. But for now, I've just got them sitting here. So we'll start with Facebook. And one thing to notice when I created this document, which is something I'm only just realizing now, is that when I created this document, I went to new. I actually made the color mode grayscale. But if you've done this by accident and then you realize things are coming in grayscale, that's an easy thing to solve. Go close. We go up top to image, mode, we make it RGB color. I click don't flatten because I don't want to flatten our layers. I want to keep them all editable. And then I put don't rasterize. I want to keep everything the way it is. So now there's a bit of color in our Facebook logo. So I'll pop that one in there. I go file, place linked. Then I also pop, say, our YouTube logo in there. Once again, I will link to where you can get some social media logos if you need some for your Facebook page below in the description. So once again, this time I'm actually going to grab, I'm going to click on the phone over here. You can see what it says. I'm going to drag it down to the plus symbol to duplicate that logo, that text, and I'm going to drag it across. You can either click, I held down Control to drag this, or if you click on the logo, you can hit Control T and simply grab it and move it that way. Hit Enter when you're done. But here I'm going to say Travel Dude, let's say 1990, something like that. So he's got a Facebook shortcut on there. Obviously, we're on Facebook, so he has a Facebook page. And then maybe you have a channel name which is called Travel Dude. So we'll just say Travel Dude. So we've got our details here. And what I can do, so I can get the logo, click here. I can take a step back and think about this layout, what I like or don't like. I can move this, make it a bit bigger. If I want to, maybe I want to add a bit of a weird effect, so I can actually choose to, I'll create a new logo by clicking on this plus symbol down here. Move it outside the logo group. Every time you create something, you're going to get a layer in here. So one thing I will stop and explain just quickly is that the layer dictates the order in which it's displayed. So if I have, I'll draw something on this layer here. I'll just draw a box across this page. I'm going to make it red. If I free transform, move this over the top of the logo, it sits above the logo because the logo group is underneath it. But if I drag this layer underneath the logo, it now sits under the logo. So that helps determine what is on top or what's underneath on the page when you're designing. So I'm going to move that back up. Doesn't really matter where it is. But if I want to just quickly show you how to do that box, I'm just going to go up the top here to this square selection tool. I'm going to draw this box here. I'm going to grab my fill tool here on the left, which is like a paint bucket with a drip coming out of it. If you hover over, it'll say paint bucket tool. I pick a color here by clicking on that, choose my color, which is red. I press OK, and I just simply fill that in. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit Control T for free transform again, but this time I'm actually going to hold down Control, and I think it might be Command on Mac. I'm going to grab one edge and just move it down. Then I'm going to just grab this here and just sort of, now see how it shrunk the whole thing? I'm going to hit undo, Control Z. I'm going to hold down Shift so that I can change it without losing the proportions. I mean, change it and edit the proportions. Now, depending on your setting, it could be one way or the other with you. It could be if you go to change it, maybe it doesn't retain any proportions like of the object you're transforming. But sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. All you need to do is hold Shift and it'll do sort of toggle to the opposite option. So I'm going to put that here. So let's say that's our little Facebook page. We're pretty happy with it. And we're going to Facebook header image, I should say, and we're going to use that. But maybe you're not. Maybe you think this looks pretty ugly. I don't think it looks great like this, to be honest. So what we're going to do, I'm going to turn off this red band because I don't like it. I'm going to add a background image just to dress it up a bit. So I'm going to click on the background layer here because I want the image to pop in just above that, but below all of our text. I'm going to go to File, And I'm going to go to place again. So place embedded or place linked. We'll go place linked. I'm going to quickly just copy an image in place here. Okay, so I've just popped this image in here. I've downloaded from pexels.com, P-E-X-E-L-S.com. Once again, another link in the description if you're looking for some stock photos. But I'm going to pop this one in here. I'm going to click OK and click place. So we've got our travel dude here. And I'm going to actually just grab these corners and just resize them to the full width. So we've got our travel dude on here now, and things are starting to shape up. So one thing you'll notice, now what I'm trying to do is keep this effect pretty simple. So I'm going to just proportionally shrink that in, try and max it out. So now he's showing up between the guidelines, but there's still some information above and below to show up on, say, a phone if you need it to. But there's a few things we need to do now. I'm going to click enter. You'll notice now that the white logo is a bit hard to see because we've got a lot of white on this side. These bits here are not too bad. So what I'm going to go over here to our Travel Dude logo, click, Control T. I'm going to shrink it down, move it up, so it's showing up a bit more in the blue. Now the other thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go into this logo. I'm going to right click on the logo, go to blending options, and bring up this panel here. And I'm just going to go down to my drop shadow and tick that. So now I have a drop shadow behind it. I'm going to do something better than that though. So I click on the drop shadow to highlight it. I bring that size right down. I bring the opacity down. So I play with these things. Bring the opacity down makes it more or less transparent. And I can create a bit of an angle here. So just basically keep the distance down a bit. So now we've got a nice little shadow underneath our Travel Dude logo. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click, copy layer style. So I copy that drop shadow. So right click, copy layer style. And where it says travel tips for newbies here, our dot points, I'm going to right click, I'm going to paste that layer style so we have the same drop shadow there. But what I have to do next is actually move some of this information here. So I'm going to take our Travel Dude 1990. We'll take hold down Shift to select all four of these top layers, which is Travel Dude 1990, and our two social media icons. I'm going to hit Control T. I'm going to move those over above the phone number here. And now I'm going to do is actually hold down Control to also select the phone number. Control T. I'm going to move those up here. Try and get them within the cloud. Now the reason I'm doing this is because now this isn't terrific graphic design what I'm doing here, but it does demonstrate how you can lay things out. Now I'm just holding down Control and using my arrow keys to move things left and right there. But I'm going to get my text tool again here. And you can see because I have all of these selected still, I can go up to the color which is white, click on it. I can make it black and it'll affect that there. So I'm just going to zoom in so you can get a better look now. All right, so you can see we've got our Travel Dude logo, we've got our bits and pieces here, and we've got some information. So that's basically it so far. You can keep it at that if you want to, save it, and go from there. But we are going to do a little bit more just to show you something you can do to give it a bit more of an effect before we wrap up and save this to upload to our Facebook page. So the idea is, let's say I don't want this picture to be full strength. I can go down here to the image on the layer, so person standing on top of the rock. I click on that layer, and where it says opacity, I can drag that down and make it semi-transparent. Or I can sort of keep it up there. I can try with a few different blends. Because we're going over a black background, it's not really something that is going to have a lot of effect. So we'll just leave it on normal for now. The other thing I can do is, so I'll knock that down a bit. I can also hit create a new layer, and I go where the paint bucket tool is here, I hold down and I select the gradient tool. And from there I come down here and there's a little icon just above the paint that has like a black and white box. I'm going to click that so I can get my black here. And this is where I'm going to create a gradient. So basically I've got this gradient at the top here, and it might not necessarily be on the setting. So to find this one, we're going black to transparent. You can see the checkers there basically indicates that it's transparent. I need to open the basics and choose that second one there. So I can now come down, and if I hold down shift, I get a perfectly straight line. I'm going to go just above the guideline and let go. Then I'll go up the top and do the same again. Come down just below the guideline and let go. Now we have a nice little black bordered effect. The only other thing we need to do is where we've got our travel dudes there, I'm going to go back, select those 4 layers. So holding down shift, I'm going to move those, so Control T, move them back over next to this text. Now the good thing, you see these little pink lines here, showing me that I've lined the text up vertically with the text to the left. So you do get a few little guides as to how things are aligned. And then I'm going to select the phone again by holding down Control. So we have all 5 layers selected. Pick my text tool, because black on dark is hard to read, so I'm going to go back up here and make that text white. Now here's something else we can do. Hit Control T, because we've got everything here. I can move it until I get my little indicator line showing me I'm in the center of the page, which is there. I'm basically centered on the page and there. So I can make further adjustments now too if I want. Go down to my logo here, go down to the logo here, Control T, move that down to make it more central. And also click on my little dot points here, Control T, move it down. And so now we have our Facebook image. So that's just obviously you can do whatever you want to do with this. It's pretty much limited by your imagination and what you're comfortable doing. I do intend on doing a lot more videos in the future on Photoshop showing you how to do bits and pieces like cutting people out of photos, things like that. So yeah, if you want to see more of that kind of thing, please consider subscribing to my channel. If you like this video, please like it. But I'm going to show you just quickly, we're going to actually upload this onto your Facebook page. So the way that works, to save this image, and go File, down to Export, and then Save for Web. Now we get this little window here. I'm going to put it onto JPEG, and I want it to be at about sort of 50 or 60, so we'll go about 60. I'm just going to quickly check the image and make sure it doesn't look too compressed. To show you what I mean, I'm going to knock this quality down to about 7. You see, if I zoom in, all of this stuff here is very choppy and it's got a lot of artifacts around it. If I pop it back up to about 60, it's a lot sharper. So basically, it's going to zoom out by holding down Alt. But basically, I'm happy with this image. So I've got it set to JPEG, about 68. I look down the bottom here, it's 197 kilobytes, so not too bad. I'm going to save that image. Final image. And the image is basically now there and ready to be uploaded. So I'm going to bring up, I've got a dummy Facebook page which I use. I'm just going to open it up off page over here, drag it over. All right, so I've got our Facebook page here, my little dummy Facebook page. Now to upload this image, all I do is hover over this picture, which is actually from another video I've just recently done. Hover over where it says change cover, and then I upload photo. I then pick the image we just saved. I can move this up and down and reposition if I want to, but I generally just leave it where it is. I save that. And now we have our image on Facebook. I think it looks pretty sharp for a bit of a throw together, but that's basically it. That's showing you basically the tools you can use to create a Facebook header image for your Facebook page using Photoshop. Obviously, like I said, do what you need to, what you feel looks good, have a play, learn the platform by playing around a little bit, and yeah, pop it up. Now, another thing I want to tell you about quickly is that if you also, I have 3 free layouts that you can basically download and edit to customize for your Facebook page. Those are totally free. If you head to my website, and I'll pop the link on the screen here, all you have to do is sign up for my email newsletter and you'll get free access to those templates. So you can download those, open them up in Photoshop, do exactly what we've done here, but there'll be existing designs there. The other thing too is if you do want to download that empty template, I'll also pop a link to that below. Don't need to subscribe for that one. That one's just on the post that accompanies this video. It'll be at the right size. It'll have the guidelines there ready for you. So that way you can just open it up and start designing. So that one's just a freebie. The other ones are freebies as well. All I ask is that you subscribe. So hopefully you, yeah, between that and the free templates, I hope that you can get this done the way you want it to. And yeah, get the Facebook page image that you're after. So once again, thanks for watching the video. Really appreciate it. And I hope to talk to you again soon. See you later.